John Edward Robinson. A name that for many conjures up images of a successful entrepreneur and a charming socialite. But beneath this polished exterior lay a dark and sinister reality. To some he was a successful businessman. He attended meetings, closed deals, and was often seen shaking hands with influential figures in the corporate world. To others, a charming gentleman. He was the life of the party, always ready with a smile and a kind word, making everyone around him feel special and valued. But behind this veneer of normalcy lurked a monster. A predator who thrived in the shadows, hiding his true nature from the world. He was leading a double life, one meticulously crafted to deceive. By day, he was the epitome of success and charm. By night, he transformed into a cold-blooded killer, preying on the unsuspecting. His unsuspecting victims, drawn in by his charisma, would meet an unspeakable fate. They were lured by his promises, his charm, and his seemingly genuine interest in their lives brutally extinguished, their stories forever intertwined with the chilling moniker, the Butcher of Kansas. The media sensationalized his crimes, painting a picture of a man who was both fascinating and terrifying. Robinson's crimes were not quick acts of violence. They were meticulously planned, each step calculated to ensure his dominance and control over his victims. They were methodical, calculated, and downright sadistic. He took pleasure in the suffering he inflicted, deriving a twisted sense of satisfaction from his heinous acts. He reveled in the fear he instilled, the control he exerted over his victims. Each act of violence was a demonstration of his power, a way to assert his dominance. His game was manipulation, played with the lives of innocent people. He was a puppet master, pulling the strings and watching as his victims danced to his tune. And for years he played it well, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Families were torn apart, lives were shattered, and the community was left in a state of perpetual fear. The true extent of his crimes may never be fully known, but the impact of his actions will be felt for generations to come. John Edward Robinson cultivated an image of success. He dressed impeccably, always the consummate professional. People saw a man who had made it, a man who could offer opportunities, but it was all a facade, a carefully constructed illusion to lure in his prey. He used this illusion to gain trust. People let their guard down around him. They believed his promises, blinded by his apparent success. They had no idea they were staring into the eyes of a predator, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Robinson's weapon of choice? Deception. He targeted the vulnerable, the ones seeking connection or a fresh start. He placed personal ads promising love, companionship, even employment. He presented himself as the answer to their prayers. These weren't random acts, they were calculated maneuvers by a cunning predator who knew how to exploit vulnerability. He spun elaborate tales, weaving dreams of a better life for those desperate to believe them. He painted himself as their savior, only to reveal himself as their worst nightmare. Robinson's crimes went far beyond murder. He subjected his victims to unimaginable horrors. He kept them captive, sometimes for weeks, torturing them physically and psychologically. He derived pleasure from their suffering, their cries for mercy music to his ears. His cruelty knew no bounds. He documented his crimes, keeping souvenirs of his victims, photographs, letters, even their remains. These trophies were not just reminders of his deeds, they were tokens of his power, his dominion over life and death. Section 5. The House of Horrors Uncovered. The truth about John Edward Robinson unraveled slowly, like pulling a thread on a blood-soaked tapestry. It all began with a missing persons case that seemed routine at first, but as the investigation deepened, a suspicious storage drum was discovered. The stench of decay filled the air, hinting at the horrors within. When authorities finally descended upon Robinson's property, they had no idea the horrors they were about to uncover. The scene was chaotic, with police cars parked haphazardly and yellow crime scene tape cordoning off the area. The air was thick with tension and dread. The scene that greeted them was straight out of a nightmare. Shocked police officers stood frozen, unable to comprehend the magnitude of what they had stumbled upon. The eerie silence was occasionally broken by the crackle of police radios and the murmurs of disbelief. The smell of death permeated the air, a foul odor that clung to everything it touched. It was a smell that would haunt the memories of those present for years to come. The ominous, dark house seemed to exude a sense of dread, as if it were alive with malevolent intent. Inside, a gruesome discovery awaited. The bodies of two women stuffed inside barrels were found in a dark room. The sight was horrifying, a testament to the unimaginable cruelty that had taken place within those walls. The barrels, marked with police evidence tags, stood as silent witnesses to the atrocities committed. But this was just the beginning. The initial discovery was merely a glimpse into the depths of Robinson's depravity. Investigators, horrified by what they had found, continued to search the property, uncovering more evidence of his heinous acts. As investigators dug deeper, they unearthed a chamber of horrors, a testament to Robinson's depravity. Hidden chambers and secret rooms revealed the extent of his monstrous actions. Each discovery painted a darker picture of a man who had managed to hide his true nature behind a facade of normalcy. Section 6. Justice catches up, a trail of evidence. The evidence against John Edward Robinson was overwhelming. The bodies, the torture devices, the incriminating documents he kept, meticulous records of his crimes. He had left a trail of devastation, a breadcrumb trail leading straight back to him. In court, the prosecution presented a mountain of evidence, detailing the calculated and brutal nature of his crimes. They painted a picture of a man driven by dark desires, a man who found pleasure in inflicting pain and suffering. The jury listened, horrified, as the full extent of Robinson's depravity was laid bare. Section 7. Systemic failures. A blind eye turned. The case of John Edward Robinson exposed a chilling truth. Monsters often hide in plain sight. How could a man commit such heinous acts for years without detection? How did he manage to evade justice for so long? The answer, in part, lay in systemic failures. Missed opportunities, overlooked red flags, a lack of communication between agencies. Robinson was cunning, exploiting these gaps, using his charm and deceit to deflect suspicion. He was a master manipulator, and the system, tragically, played right into his hands. Section 8. The Butcher of Kansas, a legacy of terror. This is a story that delves deep into the heart of darkness, a tale that has haunted the state of Kansas for decades. John Edward Robinson, the Butcher of Kansas, a name that has become synonymous with fear and horror. His face, now infamous, is etched into the annals of criminal history. The name itself sends shivers down the spines of those who remember the terror that gripped the region. His reign of terror was not just a series of isolated incidents but a prolonged period of fear and uncertainty. He was a predator who preyed on the vulnerable, a monster who hid in plain sight, a manipulator who used charm as a weapon. His ability to blend into society while committing heinous acts made him all the more terrifying. His crimes left an unforgettable scar on the community, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. The impact of his actions was felt far and wide, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. The families of his victims were left with unimaginable grief, forever haunted by the brutal and senseless loss of their loved ones. Their lives were irrevocably changed, marked by a sorrow that time could never fully heal. The legacy of John Edward Robinson serves as a grim reminder of the evil that can exist in the world and the importance of vigilance and justice in the face of such darkness. Section 9. Scars that never heal. The unending nightmare. The horror of John Edward Robinson's crimes extends far beyond the grave. The families of his victims still grapple with the pain, the loss, the unanswered questions. They live with the knowledge that their loved ones suffered unimaginable horrors in their final moments. Their pain is a stark reminder of the real-life consequences of these horrific acts. The case of the Butcher of Kansas serves as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk where we least expect it. And sometimes, the monsters among us are the ones who appear the most human.